Hello and welcome back to my channel. Last week you already saw our part 1 of our first day here in Xining in Shanghai province, where we visited the Tibetan Medical Museum as well as the Tibetan Culture Museum. And now it's still the same day, it's the 4th of June, and it's the afternoon, around 3 o'clock. We're now at the Tibetan Market, which is kind of near the railway station. It's like maybe half a kilometer east of the main railway station. And it's not only Tibetan stuff, it's actually there's clothes and a lot of other things, but there are many Tibetan shops here as well, where you can buy many things. So we're gonna have a look around to see what we can find here. And if you haven't seen last week's video, then it's right up here. So you can click on it, watch it, and have fun. So today in this video, after the market, in the evening, we're gonna go to the mosque for evening prayer and breaking the fast, because today is the last day of Ramadan. So I'm really looking forward to that. Let's go and enjoy and explore this market. Well, I would say this market would be more aptly called anything market rather than Tibetan market. There are Tibetan shops here, but actually the mall itself is full of just anything you can think of. So let's explore a bit more.
How do you think Chinese buildings? I prefer at the first side they are thinking just but if you want to, if you have a very bigger Chinese buildings around or very just like this.
Well, as you saw, we went to the mosque in the evening for prayer, and it was the last day of Ramadan. So until now, all the mosques we had visited in China that in Ramadan, that is, offered decent food, like actual people came together to eat food and break the fast together and pray. One example, you can see my previous video from Xi'an that's linked up here. And so, based on our previous experiences, we thought we would go to the mosque and there would be food for everyone and people would just hang out together and pray together and stay there for a while. Well, our experience in Xining was different. As you see, there were lots of people and there was also some food. They gave out free water and tea, and also they had dates and some bread for everyone. But there was no real food, like not a big dinner or anything. But okay, that was all right. We managed to deal with that fact. But the problem for me was, before the prayer, you actually saw quite a few women walking around. And I kept on asking around, like, where is the prayer hall for women? Because unfortunately, not religiously, but culturally, a lot of times in mosques there is a strict separation of men and women. And a lot of times women are in a basement or in a bathroom, just like you've seen in my previous video, or in some other weird space that is not in the mosque directly. So I was prepared for that I would have to be somewhere else, not in the main prayer hall. Okay, so I asked around and people sent me to an upper floor in a side building, which in theory was okay. The problem was, I was the only woman there. And you've seen the amount of people who were there. So all these men who have wives, daughters, sisters, where do all the women go? Well, it turns out in Xining or in Qinghai province, women just don't go to the mosque. They pray at home or something. They just don't go to the mosque. And so at the time of prayer, I was not exactly happy. Actually, I cried during the whole prayer. It was still a beautiful experience to be able to pray, but I was by myself and it sucked because I just felt bad for all the other women that couldn't go to the mosque. This also prepared me for the next day for the celebration of Eid, which is one of the biggest festivals in Islam. So I was already mentally prepared that I would not be able to go to the mosque and pray on this very important celebration. After calming down and crying for a while, my husband calmed me down, so that was nice. We were walking down the street. I mean, I was still like upset inside because I was just nervous and angry. But then a Chinese woman, she was walking towards us and she smiled at me, and that already made me really happy. And then she actually turned around and stopped us and asked me if I want to take a picture together, and that was really cute. And afterwards she hugged me, so after that my mood was a lot better. Another thing is though that we didn't have any food except a few dates and some tea, and we were really hungry because we had been fasting all day. So Xining is a small city, and it seems a lot of places just close really early, and the breaking the fast, the prayer time was at 8:30 in the evening. So even though there are many restaurants even in that area, they had all closed. So it was really hard for us to find anything. We saw like one or two places that were open, but they were the one we went into was full, and they told us they basically only have one dish available, and we didn't want that, so we kept on walking around. And then we thought, okay, we saw a food court of sorts earlier that day, so we took a Uber, the Chinese Uber, which is called Didi. We took a Didi to that food court, which was like 2-3 kilometers away, but we got there at 9 o'clock and it was already closed. There was one small shop that was still open, but they were already cleaning the floors and everything. Then another place that we saw, a restaurant that was open, was a Hotpot restaurant, but that would have been just too much to eat at that time of night, and besides there were actually people waiting to go in. So there was a line, and they told us we'd have to wait at least 10 minutes until we even get a table. But we were just really hungry, so we left and we kept on walking. We went to the next place that was still open, but they told us the kitchen had already closed. So after that we were like, okay, we'll just eat at whatever is the next place that we find. So we kept on walking for a few hundred meters, and then finally found this small Muslim noodle shop. And they just have like the most simple kind of dishes, noodles with vegetables, meat, different kinds, and they also had some barbecue meat. And yeah, so alhamdulillah, thanks to God, we found a place that was open and that had food, and that wasn't too expensive, and there was that had a seat available, and that served the food very quickly. And of course, the loveliest surprise was when we wanted to pay at the restaurant, because the owner, he refused the money. He wouldn't let us pay because because it was the last night of Ramadan and we were Muslims, and he didn't accept the money. And that was just, even though before that it was so hard and strange and annoying to, first of all, the disappointment of not being able to pray, and then running around for an hour to find food, and then having this surprise at the end that the owner didn't accept our money out of kindness. That was just like, that made the night really special, and it was a great thing to remember. So, well, that was the last day of Ramadan, and the month of fasting for us was over. So to see what happened next, when we went to the Eid prayer in the next morning, well, you'll have to come back next week for the new video next Tuesday, and also to find out what we did on our remaining days in Xining in Qinghai province. I can tell you we did a lot of cool things, so stay tuned, and I hope to see you next week. If you haven't yet, please subscribe If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Maybe write in the comments below. And yeah, if you want to support this channel, please check the links in the description below, because if you want to book a hotel, you can use the link to booking.com. I will get a small commission. It will not cost you anything extra, and you even get a discount. And if you don't like hotels but you want to book an Airbnb instead, then you can also get a discount through the link below. And I'll again get a small commission, but this will help our channel. This will help us to travel a little bit more, and also, you know, support us a little bit. That would be awesome. So I hope to see you next week. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to subscribe. Bye.